The news just wrote, the reinvestigation of Tupac's murder is revealing new names and evidence of those involved. New name now brought up is Suge Knight. As according to the new police records, it reads, Detective Russell Poole suspected Suge Knight arranged Tupac's murder before he could exit the label, then framed the rival Crips to throw off investigators. This raised a very important question of who's a famous Crip gang member that Suge Knight would pin Tupac's murder on. The most famous Crip in the entire world is Snoop Dogg. His file is very interesting when you learn that he was supposed to be in the BMW with Tupac on the night that he died.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So.
Saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with them.
As Snoop would mention that he was supposed to be in the BMW with Tupac and Suge Knight, but after last minute changes, he suddenly didn't go. This was likely due to an altercation that Snoop had with Tupac and Suge only 24 hours prior.
The last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me, how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I told her that I liked their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to, prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
With all of this happening within 48 hours, it made the police very suspicious about Snoop Dogg's involvement. 2 decades ago, Snoop was heavily tapped into the streets. He could have received a tip that Tupac would have been targeted on that night, so he avoided on getting in the car. As the feds then found another interview from Snoop Dogg where he claims only 2 days before Tupac died, he felt like Tupac hated him, which created more suspicion.
I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I like it. I want to do some music with them. And I just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like tried to kill me, out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with them. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. There's video footage of all of us hanging out.
However, Snoop Dogg is not the only Crip that was involved in Tupac's murder, meaning Suge Knight had multiple options. According to Mike Dorsey, Diddy is also a Crip, which is why the news wrote, former LAPD cop claims that Diddy had Tupac dealt with for $1 million. Suge retaliated by having Biggie dealt with, as Diddy hired a man named Keefe D to get Tupac. After walking free for the last 20 years, the police then finally arrested Keefe D and he did an interrogation. He didn't know that he was being recorded, but he literally confessed that Diddy was the lead man of the crime of wanting Tupac gone.
On all 4 of those occasions, there's San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, and Vegas, which ones do you actually talk to Puffy at?
Every one.
Every one of them. Which of those 4 is it when you talk to him about murdering Tupac?
It was really about both of them. Either one. It was
Tupac and Suge, you mean?
Yeah,
As during the Diddy trial, he was even questioned on his involvement. The news wrote, Diddy faces questions about his alleged role in Tupac's murder after being mentioned 77 times in a new legal filing. As Keefe D, the hired hitman of the crime, said that everything was Diddy's wish. He even explained that it occurred so fast and only happened because Tupac was originally reaching for his firearm.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually?
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car
That's what happened.
started at Tupac and Suge.
As when this was exposed in the Diddy trial, many in the courtroom began getting emotional when they found out Tupac already knew what was about to happen to him, which is when the real reason that Tupac was targeted for this crime was revealed inside of the courtroom, when an officer would explain that Tupac was originally working with the feds, who had a job of stopping the red and blue street teams from the very dangerous crimes that they were committing.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to gangs and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda that he came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the and the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy.
As if word got out that Tupac was a Fed, he would have been targeted by every gang member in any area that he went to. This would all hit news headlines extremely fast. Even 50 Cent would react on stage.
I hate when they leave me to talk because I always say the wrong thing. I'm saying, last time they left me, I said something about Puffy. You saw that? Yeah! I gotta stop doing that. I've been talking to a therapist trying to help me with the I'm saying. I said crazy for no reason. Oh wait, maybe I said it to my boyfriend because he got Tupac killed.
As even Eminem reacted to it on his song titled Fuel, where he leaked that Keefe D and Diddy were a part of it all along. He rapped the lyrics, "I ain't trying to beef with him cause he might put a hit on me like Keefe D did him," as he leaked that Diddy and Keefe D were responsible for the hit on Tupac over a year ago, and nobody even said a word. But fans would be quickly to point out that Diddy has been called out for Tupac's murder for several years, such as this awkward Breakfast Club interview where he was outed for being responsible.
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
But everything would be revealed during the Diddy trial, and let me explain. A police officer would reveal their studies, and they found that on September 7th, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas with the head of his record label named Suge Knight. The two were off to the MGM Grand to watch a Mike Tyson match, as after it was over, they spotted an op in the lobby of their hotel.
Suge Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and two of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the shooting was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and beat him up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly.
The security would break up the altercation between Tupac, Suge, and the ops, but it resulted in Tupac and Suge needing to go back to their hotel to change their clothes. Then at around 11 p.m., the two would begin driving down to the club, as while going down the Las Vegas Strip, they would be stopped at a red light where the ops would pull up right beside them.
Knew about Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
The aftermath was a mystery for over 2 decades. This was until randomly a man named Keefe D began doing public interviews exposing himself for being responsible for Tupac's death, where he would literally do one interview where he details the moments of finding Tupac and doing the crime.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together. Just say that.
This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, "Tupac, Tupac."
Got to the light. We was gonna go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He's hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
To prove that what he is saying is the truth, he would then share a never-before-seen interrogation with the police on the night of the crime, just to prove that he was telling the truth.
Lane starts. You say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then Tupac's busy getting. Evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the
back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando across Dre?
He leaned over on the window. We rolled down the window.
As during the police's investigation, they also found Keefe D's reaction to Tupac passing away, which shows his true emotions.
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog. I really do, man. Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. Hate it happened. Probably to God. I feel that was wrong, man. It was just purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. It never happened, dude.
However, this is where the murder files get very weird, as there's many holes in the story, and even the police believe that Tupac could still be alive. As in 2010, there was an interview with a rapper named Tretch where things got very weird. The cameraman forgot to stop recording. He placed his camera onto the floor, and in the footage, you can hear the interviewer asking Tretch about Tupac before his concert, and Tretch responds, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba."
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
Earl. One last question.
Nobody knows.
Y'all good? Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man.
Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Then, only 1 week later, a video would be released onto a news website showing a video of Tupac chilling in a parking lot inside of Cuba.
Zoom in. That's Pac, man. He with the outlaws. And Reg from Holla Back. He's trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
But the scariest part is that Suge Knight agrees that Tupac is alive and well. He has said so in many interviews over the course of the last 2 decades now, but one particular interview makes a very convincing case towards it, where he would expose that Tupac was doing fine in the hospital before he allegedly died, stating in quote, "When I left that hospital, me and Tupac were laughing and joking. I don't see how someone can turn from doing so well to doing bad."
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
But what's weird about this is that Tupac was supposedly in a coma when arriving to the hospital. So how in the world would he and Suge be laughing if Tupac was unconscious? It doesn't seem to add up. However, in a 2008 interview, Suge said the exact same thing, that Tupac was alive and well. But some also believe that Suge Knight is only saying this because he's responsible for Tupac's death and he's trying to get the police off of his tracks. Comment down below what you believe.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.